Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start. It looks like the ETSAP has fixed the problem, which are well known for. So it's beautiful. So we may just take our seats and we will start. Those who are still coming, they will find us along the way. Otherwise, we will miss the gala dinner in the evening. We don't want to miss that one. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tokozani Mabuza, and I will be your co-pilot with Lisa Tele, pushing today's program. Welcome the protocols that were observed on Monday morning, we are going to work along the line, so we're not going to be mentioning everything. For this morning, allow me to say welcome on board the Ifatia Airline flight number 53 from Cape Town. We'll be going around the world picking up people along the way that are going to be presenting stuff to us this morning that we're going to take home. This morning, I just want to thank the organizing team for putting us together here. First and foremost, this morning, we're going to be starting from the top presentation. Our first stop will be in Europe, Greece to be exact, and we're picking up the director of the European IFATIA, Mr. Kostas Christoforou. He is coming forward to do a presentation. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for joining this morning session. My aim is to set the stage for the upcoming panel discussion that we have later on of addressing cyber threats against CNS-HM systems through collaboration, training, systems thinking, and data-driven decision-making. As we all realize nowadays, we are heading into some very challenging times. It is essential, and I keep it as my highlight here, that we must understand the direction we are going. But just as importantly, it's time for the others outside our profession, and here I mean both the decision makers and the society as a whole, to recognize and appreciate the vital role we play in the aviation's technological evolution. Excuse me if I'm repeating this word for some time now, but we constantly have to prove ourselves and demonstrate our role and the real value. Nothing should be taken for granted. This is a message I want to propagate to you. So, aviation industry is undergoing a rapid transformation driven by all this technological advancement. Something that is bringing difficulties and constraints, but at the same time is opening new prospects and potentials for us. The ATSE professionals, they have a very critical role in ensuring the safety, the efficiency, and overall the seamless operation in this continuously upgraded ATM ANS system. So, understanding this role of the ATSE professional will be very essential. We have to deal with highly professionals with extensive training and responsibilities for the maintenance, supervision, and above all now to bring the evolution in ATM ANS systems. So with this ongoing transformation and the increased integration of artificial intelligence across many of our systems, ATSEP must continuously expand their activities, their skill set to encompass automation technology, radar innovations, satellite-based tools, and more. And maybe the most critical element, the cyber security defense, ensuring seamless, safe operations across both legacy and next generation infrastructure. So let's not forget that is the ATSE professional who act, as we mentioned several times, as the first responder, but both strategically and tactically in the event of a technical failure or a cyber attack. Is ATSE professional expertise that timely intervention that keeps the integrity and the resilience of the entire aviation system. In this technological evolution, there are for sure some impacts and some constraints for the ATSE profession. Basically, there are three main areas where we see these impacts in this analog to digital. We are talking now about advanced digital transformation, then bridging the gap between the existing legacy system and the new advanced system, and the modernization of our system. And let me tell you the paradox of automation here. More automation doesn't necessarily lead to fewer human errors, lower stress, or better outcomes. In fact, without careful integration and mapping, automation can initially degrades human performance before any improvements can emerge. So this means that correct change management, adaptability, and ongoing training are not optional, but they are vital if we want to make the most of the technology and ensure truly that it serves more effective operations. So ATSE professionals are the essential link between the outdated legacy infrastructure and advanced digital platforms like virtual centers, cloud technologies, ATM data service provision, remote towers, and many other cutting-edge technologies. So their work ensure service continuity and support operational transformation. So in an increasingly complex environment, system landscape safety depends on continuous technical vigilance. ATSEP ensure real-time monitoring, proactive fault resolution, and compliance with international safety standards, while embracing AI-driven predictive maintenance to enhance system resilience and minimize disruption. All this sequence is now being placed in the integrated advanced ATSEP working position. This is a new notion we are calling both the industry and the ANSPs to follow. So all these new technologies and new concept of operation We have now these new entrants with UAVs and the service model with virtual centers, ADSPs, demand robust technical support. Is the ATSE professional that are the key to integrate these innovations in the existing ATM ANS ecosystem safely, efficiently, and without compromising the performance. Coming to the international standards and the collaboration, the ATSE professional contribute not only operationally, but also at the regulatory level, participating in safety oversight and inspections. Their adherence to ICAO SARPs and EU rules safeguard the interoperability, efficiency, and reliability of the air navigation services. Coming to the training and the skill developments, as we all know, the ATSEP training is both intensive and continuous. It covers both the advanced technical competence and safety principle. So a logical, pragmatic conclusion will be that proactive investment in training is crucial to avoid risk when implementing new technologies, ensuring ATSEP are always prepared and competent for the next challenge. More specifically, at the current regulatory provision, both at ICAO and at the European level, there is, if we take the example of cybersecurity, is only briefly mentioned. Therefore, we need to adopt and implement both in Europe and globally some new aspects, either in acceptable means of compliance or as a guidance materials. In Europe, we try right now with a huge effort to bring all these necessary changes to the 373, which is the regulation that regulates the ATSE profession. But there was an initiative also at ICAO level, and we see that the new training manual has been upgraded, and there are some mentioning of security and cybersecurity. So, in addition, it's not only cybersecurity that it's a big issue. It's all this new concept of operation I listed there. And I have a special mentioning on AI. AI is already belongs to the past. We have a new era now. We have AGI now. Something that is very scary. I said this yesterday, and first of all, I have a link there. Find this article is from Geoffrey Hinton, a Nobel Prize winner for 2024. In this article, just to say who is Geoffrey Hinton, is considered the godfather of AI, colleagues. Is a well-known figure for his research. So you can find the article in the link there. More or less, he claimed that, and he's very worried about that the technology, because he was chief science in Google, and that's why he considered as a godfather of AI. He says in this article that with AGI, he foresees that the humanity will wipe off in some time. I hope he's mistaken on this prediction. So there is a strong call that goes to all the stakeholders, and this is the fight we have in Europe, with the ICAO representative with us. We directly give him the message that we need regularly reviewing and updating all these guidance material and training objectives for the ATSEP. This is something we should have applied proactively. We are late. All these new technologies are here, and they are expanding in great rhythm, and so we always gonna be behind. This is my message. So we have be proactive in this area. We must not risk our operations. So coming to the constraints and difficulties and all these future thing that we are expecting. We see that despite our critical role in the aviation ecosystem, the ATSE professionals are having this shortage, these staffing problems all the time. They are in front of fatigue and many other difficulties. So there is an unfair treatment here. We have the increasing workload and complexity, and at the same time, we are facing these difficulties that become an everyday situation that are bothering our NSPs. We have to find a good solution how to attract new generation of ATSEP. It's not easy. We use many methodologies in Europe to attract, because guys, it's not like before. The young generation, they have a different mindset. I believe they are more clever than us. Is my belief. But they have a different mindset. It's not, let's say, concentrate and not with the same characteristics as the old generation. They don't stay in one job for a long time. They like to jump from one theme to the other. So there is a special attention we have to give to this new generation if we want to make our profession attractive and gather and retain more people. So in closing, I believe that ATSE professionals are the technological backbone of air traffic safety. So as aviation enters this era of advanced digital transformation and the operational complexity keep us really with these problems and difficulties and constraints, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that our messages and our calls are widely understood across the aviation industry. So I believe that each one of us has a role to play to promote, first of all, the values of ATSE profession, both within your organization, but throughout the society, and to advocate for recognition and support that our profession deserves. So I encourage you to spread this message, engage with your leadership, and call for sustained investment in ATSEP training, first of all, staffing and development. Because ATSEP professionals are not just a technical necessity. ATSEP professionals are a strategic asset, ensuring safety and continuity of today's skies and tomorrow airspace. Thank you very much for your attention, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Costas. I'm just sitting there, and when you were speaking about the new generation, we also have the same problem this side. We call them AMA 2000. It's a big challenge. They jump around. You find them here. They are not here anymore. They are there. So it's a total control that is needed. Thank you very much, Mr. Costas, for that eye-opening presentation. Now we're going to move forward. I will be calling forth from Greece. We're coming back to South Africa, Joburg. I'm going to call forth the SATSIPA president, Mr. Thomas Chauke. He's going to be facilitating or moderating a panel discussion under the theme, the evolving ARTSEP, adapting a technological future through system thinking and data-driven decision-making. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Thomas Chauke.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good morning, colleagues. I was trying to sort out this thing quickly. Without wasting any time, I think I'll ride on the protocol that has been observed already. But before I start, let me acknowledge the women-only panel discussion for the job well done. I think they deserve a round of applause. I'm not a stranger here. I'm the SATSIPA Executive President. I'm also an instructor at the HNS Training Academy. So colleagues, let me quickly introduce my panel. So I'll start with the IFATIA Europe Director, Kostas Festorofi. An ATEP from Japan, Yamato Esum. An ATEP from Uganda, Engineer Richard Sambata. An engineer from Morocco, Chamai Majdobi. Last but not least, ATEP from Canada, Mohamed Osman. I think the program director has already introduced the topic for the day. It's evolving ATEP, adapting a technological future through system thinking and data-driven decision making. Colleagues, CNS systems, they are becoming increasingly complex and technology-driven. Our role as ATEPs, it's undergoing a significant transformation, colleagues. So without wasting time, Mr. Mohammed, how does system thinking enhance the effectiveness of ATEP's roles in this aviation model.
All right, thank you. Can you, everybody hear me? Yeah, okay, very good. All right, so system thinking means that we have to change our approach to how we, I guess we have to shift from looking at component level troubleshooting to understanding the broader ecosystem of the ANSP. So, as an example, we look at a VHF transceiver. In the past, we'd say, okay, go fix this transceiver, but without thinking of the broader context, right? So it's the ATSEP has to recognize that the system, that VHF transceiver may have a ripple effect, may increase load on a backup system, may increase load on the controller workload, may have potential ripple effects through capacity reduction in the center and downstream traffic flow systems there. But overall, in order to kind of step back and to get the consideration of the big picture, we have to understand, like the ATSEP has to understand the nature of the airspace, and from there, from the understanding of the airspace, you can kind of prioritize the work. So it's no longer just being a simple technician to maintain equipment. You have to understand holistically on the approach.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for that. Mr. Richard, I think big data now it's becoming an in thing. You hear people talking about big data thing. So, what are the key benefits and risks of relying on data-driven decision making in air traffic safety?
Thank you. So first and foremost, set the stage and set the context. When we talk about data-driven decision making, it's essentially the ability to leverage. Okay. Am I louder now? Perfect. Yeah. So when we talk about data-driven decision making, it's essentially the science of leveraging huge chunks of data to support our workers at SIPs. Okay, so look at this as you do maintenance on a day-to-day, and in the process you collect a lot of information. Some of this information is automatically picked from the equipment. The other bits of information you capture as a video, and then over time, look at this over years, you have a big chunk of data. So data-driven decision making attempts to take advantage of this data and analyze it, pick insights, and then support the decision-making process. So part of the benefits of this is, number one, you improve the efficiency of your decision-making, and you're able to make the decisions faster within a record time. But secondly, you have preservation of institutional memory, because with the decision support tools, the decisions are no longer tied to an individual, but the ATSEP can refer to a system, a well-trained system, and be able to pick insights to support their decision making. And then therein is also the benefit to support predictive maintenance, which implies that you don't have to wait for a fault to happen. There's an opportunity for us to arrest some of these faults before they manifest. All these are some of the benefits of data-driven decision making. On the other side, the risks, of course, one is because you're relying on data, there's a risk that this data is biased. Okay, so if you have biased data, it is only implied that the decisions that will result from this data will also be biased. So this can also affect the quality of the decisions at the end. And then lastly, the other risk is, if you're talking about the leveraging of systems to support decision making, you likely want to connect or to hook up to an internet-based system, and this inevitably exposes our systems to risks. So that is the other risk in this trend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard, for that. Indeed, data can improve decision-making, colleagues. Mr. Costas, under the strategic and conceptual understanding, How can ATSEP contribute to the shaping strategic roadmap for emerging technologies while balancing the operational safety, efficiency, and cost effectiveness?
Thank you, Thomas. As I mentioned before in my presentation, the ATSE professionals have a very serious and complicated nowadays mission to accomplish. And with all this innovation and technical implementations we are seeing in the scene nowadays, it's my personal belief that the ATSE professional are an active shield to protect the whole aviation ecosystem. If ATSEP are failed, then we have a disaster. This is for sure. So in this model of safety, I place ATSEP as an active shield to protect for any disaster. But apart from the technological pillar that we have to play in all these roles we need to adopt with implementing, manage, controlling the new state-of-the-art technology, this gives us a more advanced role than the pure technical. We are now in a strategic position in our organization. This has to be propagated properly. So the ATSE professionals have shifted from simple workers on specific tasks to some guys with huge knowledge, strategic thinking, and ready to implement the upcoming technologies, and are the only people capable to address questions of this practical integration of the new systems, examine the safety implications of all these new implementations, even address the issue of cost effectiveness on all new infrastructure. And they are wise enough to suggest a step approach towards these new implementations, because the essence that we provide this ground level system thinking perspective ensures a strategic map that is not just a wish list for the new technologies, but a pragmatic, safety assured, and cost-effective plan for real revolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kostas. I think you can see the passion of being an ATEP when you answer this question. Tamaya,
Yes.
what organizational strategy should the ANSPs implement to integrate system thinking into safety management, decision-making, and technology adoption for ATEPs?
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, dear colleagues, for enlightening us with different perspectives of the issue. I think the policy for change is never a one-hand policy. It's always a collaboration between different stakeholders, between different agents that are concerned, primarily with CNS ATM. I understand that the ATSEP is in the core of the development, as mentioned by Mr. Kostas and the rest of my colleagues. But it is important also to give the ATSEP like a vision on how things will go on the future. And this only happens via like doing some sort of brainstorming, knowing what are exactly the points on which we can, for example, start using data-driven management systems. And then, of course, always being referred to existing regulatories, trying to see what we can improve in these, either in these regulatories or in existing reality to carry on with the change policy. So infrastructural change is from different aspects, either from macro or from the technicals working in field. We need motivation. We need, I would say, an encouragement, as mentioned by Mr. Costas, like doing some sort of like showing the goodwill to move towards with the CNS ATM systems. For example, we can start with having teams like leading the change, for example, from ADCEPS. Also, we shouldn't forget about the SMS safety management team that should be present from different NSPs or different concerned parts about the change or that are concerned about data-driven systems, and enhancing the culture of flexibility among all stakeholders. As in the previous panels, one of our friends from Thales, he was like, "What do you want us to do?" That's actually a good question. It shows that we already have people that are ready to contribute by what they can do, and of course, gathering all efforts together, technical, regulatories, and of course, the stakeholders we are dealing with. The change can be collaborative, as I say, and never individual. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Chamaya. I think, colleagues, the future is starting to demand a shift towards system thinking. Technological and operation. So these are the two pillars that shape how the aviation industry functions, which involves sustains safety and efficiency. Mr. Yamato, how can ATSEP assess the maturity and the readiness of new technology? And what criteria should guide deployment decision to minimize the operation risk?
Thank you for Thomas. And first time, I'm Yamato Esumi from Japanese Union of ASEPS. So I'm so happy to be here. And I first time South Africa, and Cape Town is very beautiful. And thank you for inviting Japanese teams, and I appreciate board members and South Africa team and everyone sincerely. And so my opinion is we think that the way to evaluate new technology depends on how new it is. If it's a new version of existing device, it's important to compare it with the old one. If it's a completely new device, we need to build a prototype and evaluation environment before introduction. And then do tests that consider various risks. Because of this, project management education for ASEPS is very important, I think. In my country, we can run project management education as special training programs. In this training, we are mainly learning about the PMBOK guide by using its management process in our development work. We think that we can lower risk. This guide can be used in many different countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yamato. Dedication as ATSEPS, it's very important in our field. Costas, what tools or platforms are currently used for predictive maintenance and analytics in air traffic systems?
Thank you, Thomas. As we all know, we have, let's say, the traditional way of monitoring, which goes system by system with its own monitoring. I think is very common to all of us, along with some integration for remote sites that they provide the view. Let's say if we have a remote radar, we have the RCMS giving us both the situation on our radar site and nowadays some manufacturers, they have produced a little more sophisticated monitoring that they capture a series of characteristic for our system, ground wares or radars or whatever. But the trend now goes to a more integrated and sophisticated way. That's why we call them platforms, where we have a holistic view of all our systems. What I'm talking, I saw it in practice. I tested in one of the manufacturers. It really gives a very promising future for our profession because it places ATSEP in the heart of all these works and developments. Is not going to be an automated system. It's going to be an ATSEP-driven tool and platform, but with the luxury, if I can say, of having this wide awareness on the healthiness of our equipment at the spot, at the integrated ATSEP working position. This is a notation that is similar to the ATCO working position, meaning the ATCO having all the accessories and the tools at their position. This is exactly the new trend and new model. We are moving towards a holistic, system-wide platform where all the equipment from different vendors for different systems, for different applications are integrated in front of the ATSEP, giving extra help because it's not going to be just the system is on or off, but it's going to give an open, detailed interpretation of the health of the system. And this goes a step further regarding cyber attacks. The ATSEP will have the chance to watch all the flow on the networks, warn about any irregularity or any overload of the server, of the data processing, or any other system. So it will be trigger some warning to the ATSEP, and this is very essential. So the ATSEP can be proactive, address all these incidents or faults or problems in the system. And this is what, at least I know a couple of manufacturers, they are working towards this solution that I feel that it makes sense and it will make our job not obsolete, but on the contrary, we have to be in charge of the situation because it's not just to get the information, it's how you use the information and how and what actions you need to take. This is, I feel that it's a strategic new role we will gradually adopt. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Kostas. Chamaya, how can ATSEPs ensure the data integrity and cybersecurity in this increasing digital environment?
Thank you, Kostas. Thank you, Thomas. First of all, I would like to agree with Kostas in what he was saying, that of course, AI can really offer some good opportunities assisting ATSEPs in their work. And at the same time, ATSEP should always be there for supervision, for critical thinking, for controlling the situation, because we know that's our work to deal with this type of data. so we know better in that. Concerning the aspects of cybersecurity, well, it depends on the deployment of the technology. If you are going to use it in the end, as now we can talk about edge security too, it exists. We can so if you it depends, because actually there are security tools. I'm not saying that we should work on developing security tools, because we already have security aspects for clouds. We already have security aspects for data from in the life cycle of data being processed, being stored, etc. And of course, what is important in this point, and for us as aviation personnel, is working with the existing regulatories, and also expanding to other regulatories that actually work in our favor. For example, NIST, for a framework for cybersecurity. Also, we can talk about the document of risk assessment, 10084. Also, we can talk about regulatories like ED 201A and 203. You know, we should, as my colleagues mentioned in the previous panel, we should take the regulatories, transfer them into knowledge. Like when we are dealing with data-driven system, we should know what are the regulatories. The ATSEP working with data-driven system should know by heart, and then we can open the gate for any coming improvement. So we can talk about access management. You know, cybersecurity tools are many, and of course they are AI-based cybersecurity as well. We don't talk about AI only in the face of usage. There is on the other side, because at one point it was a talk about generative AI. How is it scary having like AI tools thinking like humans? I would like to assure you that there are already generative attacks in some other aspects, but there are generative responses as well. You know, technologies go both sides. And here I highlight the importance of the presence of the ATSEP at supervising the data, supervising the behavior of the process, how is it going, to know when and where exactly to go in when the scenario might not work well. And I don't think that we can have these scenarios at the phase of implementation for simple tasks that can only help and assess asset at the first, like generating reports, like visualization of data. These are like simple things can be done via data collection from what we already working on, and then making sense of this data, I would say, and adding some sort of explainability, because as was mentioned in the previous presentation, one of the challenges was that ATSEPs, they are complex and continually complex equipments in ATSEP field. And here, where explainability questions could be raised and could be added to the process of either using artificial intelligence or cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shamaya. You've mentioned a lot of numbers there. I even lost track, but it's okay. I was trying to write them down, but maybe after this you tell me those numbers again. But I could say, Yamato, how can operational feedback loop be structured so ATSEPs can continuously refine system performance and adapt to this evolving traffic demand and technological change?
Okay, thank you, Thomas. For improvement feedback, it's important to provide various information to ATSEPs who work on system development. These ATSEPs need to work with manufacturer in order to solve some problems. And for that, they need expert knowledge, engineer, and budget. When providing information, the quality and type of information are important, including HMI. So we need some basic knowledge of data science, right? It's also important that the reporting method shouldn't be a load for ATSEPs. In my country, we have set up a database that all ATSEPs can access and a system to report any information. For example, failure report, safety report, incident report, monitoring information, and others. This information will reveal the failure period and repair time and the operating rate and others. This feedback is important to help us operate a better system, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yamato, for that. Colleagues, we will touch on training and development. I think this one is very important, and we are honored that our IFADZA president, he's the chief of the academy in Ghana. So yeah, so this one will be very interesting, colleagues. Yeah. Chamaya, I'll start with you. What new competencies should be included in the ATEP training program to align with the future demands?
Thank you, Thomas. So as my colleague Yamato said, we should introduce data science. We should be open to technologies. For example, we can talk about machine learning, AI, cybersecurity, doing trainings and hands-on, as was mentioned previously. And at the same time, keep up with what already exists for ATEP training and licensing concerning ECAO, concerning international documents that were approved. They are the first reference, and then we can carry on with the other skills that can be added to the ATEP profession that are introduced into machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, big data, and at the same time, enhancing the responsibility and sensitivity and awareness about the main role of ATSEPs. I know that everyone in the room now knows, and of course everyone in the room knows the responsibility that ATSEP has, but we need to make sure that any coming generation could have the same level of responsibility towards how the field goes. And of course, keeping the management skills, I think everyone has them included in their curriculum. So that's it for me, being open to new technologies and at the same time, not losing what we already have, because we are talking about new perspectives, but we should not focus only on new perspectives and forget what we are actually working for, that some can call it like traditional equipment or systems, but for now we are still working with that. So keeping what already exists and opening doors towards perspectives and research opportunities and being open on international knowledge market, I would say, inquirement. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Mohammed, just to build up on what Shamai has just said, how can training delivery systems be adapted to support continuous learning and technology agility?
So today, I guess the typical ATSEP management there, they demand what we call like T-based professionals, meaning that they want you to learn everything in generalities, but at the same time to be very specialized in one thing. So how do we do that, right? So we have to get away, I guess, from periodic, classroom-based training. We have to do continuous training. One thing we do where I work is we call micro learning sessions, affectionately called as lunch and learns in there. So that's one methodology. The other one that's I see continually growing there is creating simulation environments. You may have heard the term digital twin there. I know it's it's easier said than done. And another thing we could do is we could establish communities exchange practices, such as this forum here, or even if you have a very geographically diverse country such as Canada, we have to be ensure that if there's a system fault, that it occurs in one region, but it doesn't cascade in other regions. So has to be intercommunications between the ATSEP teams, particularly of the team supervisors. And the other thing we could do is we could leverage the vendors to provide some additional training. And of course, the cornerstone for all our training is mentorship. So these are kind of the basics that's needed for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yamato, my good sir, how can the ANSP create a culture of continuous learning for the ATEPs that balance the operational demand with the need to stay current on this emerging technology?
Thank you, Thomas. This is a very difficult issue in Japan. So ANSP needs a basis for training. We think that the learning level depends on the contents of this basis. So I think we also need to include things like cybersecurity in document 1057. Also, about the part of document 1057 that talks about continuation training. In Japan, we put a lot of focus on the job training, and we even invite engineer from the equipment manufacturer to come to our site and give OJT together. Moreover, if steps are included in Annex 1, I think it would help strengthen the system for continuous learning in each country. However, when we try to strengthen training even more, we need to be careful not to put too much load on steps, because in Japan there is a serious shortage of workers. So stringent training and higher work efficiency are sometimes in a trade-off relationship, I think. So we are working not only to improve our training, but also to solve the problem of the worker shortage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yamato. Costas, what key technical and soft skills will the ATEPs need in the next 5 to 10 years to operate safely in this increasing automated, data-driven CNS ATM environment?
Thank you, Thomas. I was describing before the new environment where the ATSEP will fit, and all these new developments. So related to the new skills and soft skills and all the education, let's say, that the new generation of ATSEP need to acquire. First of all, I think that we have here a model of the new ATSEP, like a hybrid professionals. And I'm saying this because this figure, the hybrid professional of the future, will bridge the gap between the existing technologies of the hardware to the new emerging technologies of data. So this is how I see in 5 or 10 years the developments for the ATSEP. As my colleague Amado and also Ms. Jame said before, we are not aiming to make this new generation of ATSEP super scientists to know all the new things, but at least they have to get some basic, I say even qualification knowledge on the new disciplines I put in my presentation, either be the cybersecurity issues, the virtual centers, remote towers, interconnecting technologies, all this bunch of new trends in the science. This guy that will sit in this new environment has to possess some technical skills and knowledge, because it is essential for understanding the situation. If you don't interpret correctly all the signals, all the messages, all the warnings, or you have the ability to go one level up and search what does it mean for me? What is the consequence for the chain of provision? Because one simple thing might cause a fatal consequence. So we must possess all these, both technical and soft skills, for interpreting the situation that will give real means to our work and safeguard the operations. Okay, it's not just watching, monitoring. We have to develop, as I said yesterday, our brain. Our brain must continuous work, not to find the easy way. We have to challenge our brain and challenge our thought. Otherwise, we are going to be eliminated. Okay, if we don't want to continue using our brain, somebody else will put the brain there to work for the machine. So it's our decision, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kostas. I think training and development it's very critical for the safety assurance and your technological adaptation and operational efficiency. Aviation space, the collaboration has become very vital in our field. Richard, how can ATSEP foster a better collaboration with other aviation professionals through system thinking?
Yes, thank you, Thomas. One idea that comes to my mind is events like this, where we meet colleagues in the profession and share ideas and insights, because it turns out there are states that have advanced a bit in this space. So I think active participation in these kinds of events is one of the channels to share lessons and learn from other practitioners. Then secondly, there's a need for deliberate inclusion of other users or end users in projects. For example, typically, we find this in most cases where engineers tend to want to work alone. So the way things are moving now, there is a need to be deliberate on the composition of teams that have cross-discipline across professions, okay? And this requires involvement of the end users, from the concept development to specification development, all the way to implementation and the M&E exercises. And then lastly, like my colleagues mentioned, we need to be very deliberate on cross-training. So gone are the days where the ATSEP is singularly focused on maybe electronics or things like that. So the new disciplines require that we understand at least something about data science, cybersecurity, networks, and so on and so forth. So it's no longer very acceptable to only know a very narrow area of the industry. Yes, so I think those are some of the strategies that can help us foster system-wide thinking. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mohammed, I want you to build up on that. What mechanism can be established to encourage knowledge sharing, best practices and lesson learned across teams and organizations?
So in the past in Canada, we tried to establish a wiki that honestly that wasn't very successful. You go in there, you try to say, okay, I've done this for this system, I found for this system, and the idea was that another ATSA from another part of the country could say, yes, I encountered this, but we could also try this methodology. But unfortunately, that didn't pan out. So what had to happen there was our leadership. What I mean is the senior level ATSEPs had to establish kind of chat groups and had to pass off operational knowledge to each other, saying that this is what we had. We've encountered this bug and this issue. So that's kind of what's working today. But it's going to take a grassroots movement and heavy collaboration, break down these barriers, and share kind of best practices. And also, kind of to build on to what Costa says, we have to park our comfort aside, think of new methodologies, new ways of performing our job. The tools are out there. It's just getting exposed to them and getting the job even done quicker and safer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for that. Richard, I want to go back to this. The change is very scary, but sometimes it must be done. So, what organizational changes are needed to support the evolving role of ATSEPs?
Yes, thank you, Thomas. Number one, from experience, maybe from Uganda, I can share this experience from back home. We have had support from management to incubate some of these technologies on a small scale. For example, like I was mentioning earlier, we have a computerized maintenance management system, which gives us the opportunity to collect logs and corrective maintenance reports in a digitalized form in a central repository. And so what we've done so far on a trial basis is to train a chatbot that is trained on previous faults, on equipment manuals, and this is something we are trying to use for decision support for corrective maintenance. So for example, if you encounter a fault while on duty, you can engage this chatbot in natural language and ask questions or describe a particular scenario, and then it will guide you through the troubleshooting process on the possible lines of action. So, and to answer that directly, institutional support in terms of support from management is very key in allowing ATSEPs to be able to leverage the benefits that come with these emerging systems. Then secondly, the need for reskilling. So institutions have to be deliberate on this. Continuous training, reskilling, and upskilling, because like my colleagues mentioned earlier, it's no longer very acceptable to only have knowledge in a very narrow domain. You may not have deep expertise in the rest of the domains, but at least the expectation is that we should support our ATSEPs to have knowledge in data science, in cybersecurity, and the other neighboring domains. And lastly, this is something I mentioned over and over, that many of these emerging tools are very attractive and they are very enticing to adopt wholesomely. But what we see is that it is always better to start with pilot projects, small projects, because of course the vendors tend to want to sell. They will come with the products and they want to sell. But what we've learned so far is that it's good to start small with these kinds of systems. There has to be a deliberate effort to start small, okay? Let's not look at adoption of these systems in their entirety, but rather to start with small test pilots or small sandboxes where you can pilot some of these ideas without affecting the operational systems. So like back home, what we've done is we've been supported to get some servers, a few servers, to install some models, and be able to train some small data sets to see if there's indeed any value that we can pick from some of these systems. So I think if we can get this kind of institutional support from our mother organizations, we can be able to manage the risks without necessarily interfering with operations, and also be able to examine these technologies at a closer range, and also be able to localize the solutions without necessarily simply copying and pasting from wherever. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Richard. Colleagues, let's inspire a forward-looking mindset amongst our ATSEPs and the aviation stakeholders, highlighting the competences, tools, culture shift needed to drive in this digital transformed airspace. Now I will open the floor for questions. It's because of time, I think we'll take 4 questions, colleagues.
My kind of questions. Yeah.
Where's the mic? My good sir, you will start there.
It is me. Good morning, colleagues. Can you stand up? Oh, I need to stand up. My questions is along the lines of the arrival of AI. I saw the previous presenter here talking about AI generative. Should we be worried with the future accepts? Because I get involved a lot with students, and there is a lot of use of AI to write exams, to write assignments, and so forth. Some people are using it at work to create ideas. It's just getting out of hand. The new graduate that's going to come out of varsity the coming few years are likely to be people who cannot think that much of themselves, who are always running into AI, getting answers, but that may not be available in the field where the radar is down, ILS is down, and we need to now start thinking what could be the issue. We need to now start reading the manual and follow the block diagram. Where are we having a signal anomalies? So should we start to be worried along those lines? Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Can they answer that one first, and then we'll take it. Richard,
Maybe I can
you can
attempt
take
on
that
that.
one.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Of course, I'll use this better mic. One of you remember, Thomas, the first question that you raised here, in terms of the risks and the benefits that we stand to get from these emerging trends. One of the major risks that, like he rightly mentions, is the loss of proficiency over time due to over-reliance on these tools. And like the presenter initially mentioned, that if you don't use your brain, eventually your brain walks away. And indeed, this is a risk that can happen. However, I don't think we need to be very scared, per se. The idea is to have strategies to maintain proficiency. The same way our brothers in the ATC world are able to maintain proficiency through simulations or drills or things like that. So I think time has come for us to also think in that direction, that as much as you have these decision support tools, we have to be intentional on how to maintain proficiency for our ATSEPs through drills or exercises or simulated environments. But at the end of the day, the tools are here. We only have to see how to manage how to use them. Otherwise, I don't think this is a reversible trend, because there are clear incentives for adoption. You have clear incentives for improvement in efficiency, clear incentives for reduction in the numbers of operational staff. But now the idea is, how do we manage the risks? Okay? How do we manage the risks? So I envision a time in the near future where we, as ATSEPs, we are going to have to do drills or exercises or simulations just to make sure our people keep up to date with, how to respond to the failure of an ALS, or how to respond to So there will be times where you're allowed to use the AI tools, but once in a while, based on the schedule, you're required to read the manual, to follow the manual, to read that manual and follow the block diagram and troubleshoot until you find the fault. So that's my idea on that.
Thank you very much. Before I go back to the audience,
Add just something.
yes, you can add, Tamaya.
Yeah, just briefly, actually, I do motivate people to keep their minds working, because AI in deep down is just maths and algorithms. And I would like to have, people who are more curious about understanding how AI works than just taking the final fruit, because that is what our field needs, because we need manuals. We would need to discover how AI works, not for us to use it like in a naive way, I would say, but to know what is in there, what's happening, because one day we might come across it. So we need to know better how it works, what is it about, what other people use it for probably, but we should keep in mind that our tasks are more critical than just reading comments from chatbots. Thank you.
Thomas,
Thank you very much.
can I add one sentence?
Yes, please.
Just
Costa.
one sentence
Yes, one
to our
sentence,
colleagues. Personally, I'm very worried because I don't trust the humankind and the way it's going to use this threatening technology. It's like the nuclear power. It meant for a good purpose where we ended up. So this is my personal view. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So we're talking about data and how it can support decision making. But in order for data to support decision making, it needs to be captured in a way that it can be analyzed, right? So I'm talking about the quality and of data. I would like to know what are some ways in which these data can be captured so that it can be analyzed and have true meaning to support decision making, to in the future mitigate against risk, and also to do preventative maintenance decision making or some control activities.
Thank you very much, Mohammed.
So let me understand, you want to know the how? Okay, I'll give you my opinion, my example. So one of my specialties is a SCADA system. So the SCADA system can capture that data. So if you think about it in terms of CNS, you could potentially query a radar system. You could look at the RF over time. If it degrades, that may trigger action. So, if we have, let's say, a certain level that it degrades, that will, we could get away from calendar-based maintenance and go more corrective. So that's, a kind of a practical approach there. I'm not too sure if I captured the most of your question there.
Certainly, because I was thinking about, how can we look at trends and notice when there is a trigger. If we have a trigger point, do we have tools available? What are those tools and how it can be captured in a standardized way using the machines or even using a repository. He touched on it earlier, but I wanted to know more because that's only, part of it.
Okay. Do you want to?
Thank you.
Maybe I can add.
Yes, you can add.
That is, in terms of the data capture, I think you raise a very important question because, like the going says, garbage in, garbage out. If the quality of the data that you're relying on to do your decision support is bad, it's only inevitable that the quality of the decision that comes out at the end will also be not the best. So our experience so far is that we have to automate, to start with the automation of the process of maintenance management. And what that means is that from the time a ticket is raised or from the time a work order is raised, we need to have formal systems to keep track of these events such that at the end of the day, you have a repository of the data. It turns out that in this new domain, data is the new oil. It's the primary resource when you're talking about AI systems. So you find that sometimes we rely on the manual documentation and the manual collection of reports. So my opinion is that as a low-hanging fruit, as a starting point, let's automate the maintenance management process, okay? And that means we are able to capture the correct logs, and that also goes on to the training of the ATSEP. How do you log the information? Are you able to capture representative logs that are meaningful? If you're designing checklists, for example, simply telling us whether a lead is on or off may not be very, very useful. So that means also the way we design our checklists, we are supposed to be looking out for the right information to guide decision making. But to answer the question straightforward, the very first step in this whole process is the automation of the maintenance management process. So gone are the days where you have to write in a book or things like that. Let's start with the automation of the processes, and then over time, we shall have all this data to later train our
We'll give
models
an
on and be
example,
able to support
an
the
example.
decision-making process. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Costas?
Yes, Jame, please.
Okay. Just adding a small point on data collection and processing. Of course, it is important, as my colleague said. If you put, like, I would say, not accurate inputs, the game is lost from the beginning. So treating data or collecting data, pre-processing data needs attention. And I think we have the materials. We can extract files of data, especially if we can talk about navigation, etc. You have like files are there, the tolerances are there. So if we would like to help the ATSEP, we can just in a software insert the tolerances, insert the data, and we can keep up having visualization methods. And of course, it can give a long-term, I would say medium too, visualization on the performance of the system, having ideas about the life cycle, etc. That's the AI I'm voting for, using it to help ATSEP to have a macro image, and at the same time to manage logs, to know what actions were taken, what to do in this case. We should simplify more the process. And I go with my friend for automating like the way of maintenance. I'm talking about predictive maintenance, generating reports, mainly monitoring, as Mr. Costa said. But at the same time, I already vote for like keeping the manuals, because we never know what tomorrow can bring. We should be ready in the two terms, good and bad terms. So I will leave Mr. Costa.
Yes, just to add to one point, a practical example. I used to work maybe 20 years in ATM data processing, and the most critical periods where we have the most incidents and crashes was when we tried to upgrade the systems, imposing new patches or whatever. So the hard work that is needed to capture and go through all these log files and trace what went wrong, and I mean, no one can. It needs some expertise on the field to do this task. It takes time, a lot of time. So with the platform I was describing before and the new skills, all this big data will be captured and presented to you, and you will have the results of all this investigation and reviewing of the log files, and you have ready-made result there, okay? But you have to use, again, as always stress here, your brain to interpret and take the correct decisions that
to repair and not have this fault presented again. Okay.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Mahama, the second last one. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to all the presenters for a good job done to the topic. But my worry is discussing the issues as if we are not regulated, we are not in a regulated environment. After the nuclear industry, aviation is the second most regulated industry. You and I know the reason why. I'm of the view that the right things will be done at the right time. What do I say so? My good friend in Japan was saying that the issue of on-the-job training for ASIPs is what we need to look at. Yes, when systems are developed, whatever technology that comes up, it comes to us, the ASIPs. We are the implementers of whatever industry brings. But there must be that collaboration between the ASIPs and the industry. But I can assure all of us that so far regulations are concerned, I don't think the system will allow things to fail, if I am allowed to say so. Let's look around. Time passed, we were talking about unmanned aerial systems, right? People were wondering, how are we going to go about this? How things are going to go? Now, the regulations, right? Governing all these activities. Yes, AI has come. Cost us as any, opportunity. I remember in Las Vegas, he spoke a lot about that. He was passionate about that. And I think that the assets might be ready. And then those of us who are on the field, who are managers of systems, we must encourage and then give an open system for decisive, or all I would say, an intellectual, thinking, as our sister did indicate. Let's read about the emerging trends so that we'll better understand the issues, so that we'll not have to, or how about the fear that, we think may come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my good sir Mahama there, for that input. I think it's noted. For the interest of time, colleagues, I think we'll stop here. I'm not saying the conversation must not continue. We can do it over tea. Yes. So, colleagues, thank you very much for giving us your ear and being a wonderful audience. And to the panelists, thank you very much for sharing the knowledge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chauke. May you please give Mr. Chauke a round of applause for moderating this one. To the panelists, before they take their seats, we have, as we say in South Africa, some smolanyana gifts that we want to give to them. I will ask Sister Lisa to come and help us, and in no particular order, so say at ATA. First call upon Mr. Costas Christoforou. Let's give him a round of applause. Miss Chaimine Mashdodi, Jesus. I'm missing out on the photo shoot. Mr. Mohammed Osman. Mr. Richard, I was impressed with you, Bright Richard, and I'm impressed by your knowledge from Uganda. Let's give him a round of applause. Sayamato Esumi. I thought they ran out. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause as they sit down. Or a group photo. Okay. All right. The other day I heard one gentleman saying revolutionary greetings. I don't know where you got them from. So that changed this whole place to be a revolutionary house. So this place being a revolutionary house, so we're gonna tweak and change our program not as it's written on your site. As program directors, we have the privilege of changing, given an updated program. Today, we are celebrating the International ATSEP Day. So seated here are birthday people. So I've been requested to ask the IFATSA president to come to the fore to address us in a short while. As we all know, there is no birthday without a cake. The cake will come later, comrades. So I would like to call upon the IFATSA president to come forth and address us. Let us give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, colleagues. As many of the board members that are here, please, I request that you join me on the podium, please. And permit me to recognize the presence of the Director for Aerodrome and Airspace Standards with the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Engineer Godwin Balang. In fact, he was with me in ICAO, and he was sitting about 3 seats away from me. Thank you very much for your presence, and thank you for your support as well. We are grateful. And did I hear you talk about Richard? Okay, so maybe some ought to have told a story. I was in Uganda for the Region Africa meeting, and I saw his presentation and the knowledge that he espoused over there, and I said that we need him here in our general meeting. Thank you very much that you have delivered. We are grateful. And to tell you, I hope that when we call upon you to join the IFASI Research Committee, you will be willing to do that and support us. Thank you. Somewhere in 2016, in Hammamet, Tunisia, the Region Africa, then as the director of the Region Africa, took a view that there was something missing within the Federation of IFASI. And we decided that it was important that we move a motion in the General Assembly for a certain recognition and advocacy on our professional activities within the aviation industry. So in 2016 in Abuja, then under the leadership of Daniel Bule, a certain motion triggered by Region Africa was passed. That motion for which gave birth to what we refer today as the International ATSEP Day. Please join us in wishing all of us International ATSEP Day. Can we be upstanding? That's and we are privileged to have someone compose a song to commemorate our day today, which has also been revised by Engineer Chikeri, who is here. Please, can we have it roll? So the song was composed by Asia Pacific, but revised by our media team personality. They are Chikeri Okarafo from Nigeria.
Focus on the metro gate, a regional sun descends, different worlds we navigate, where every journey ends. The system is clear and sound, the highest praise we earn, safe on the faithful ground, the lessons that we learn. We are the engineers of trust, a constant steady hand, the quiet spine beneath the sky, serving every land.
I think it's called for shaking ourselves here. Please, you can drag us.
Making signals true, we guard the line. Our dedication. When the muscle starts to strain, the network must not fail. We hold the line in the rain, against the fiercest gale. From coast to the highest peak, the promise that we speak is the safety of the heavens. We are the engineers of trust, the constant steady hand, the quiet spine beneath the sky, serving every land. We multiply the pilot sight, making signals true. We guard the line. Our dedication. More than just safe flights, we answer the rescue calls. World's lifeline, sharp and bright, we work to keep them all. Tourists flow the trade, the cure. By precision, we all know the confidence that will endure. The service that is sown. The unseen valor, a duty deep and clear. The bedrock of the sky's prism, forever standing here. We are the quiet spine in the silent, safe skies.
Thank you very much. Please, we can take our seat. Thank you very much. Once again, happy International ATSEP Day.
Thank you guys. Thank you, President. Thank you, Chikere. Excellent mixing of video with this song. Actually, I requested one of my college friend, Mr. Jayanta Kundu, and you will be surprised to know he's not an ATSEP. He's working with some multinational company, I think Ericsson. He's at a very senior position, very busy guy. We can say he's a sort of scientist. He's all-rounder, Mr. Jayanta Kundu. So let's have a big round of applause for him. Thank you. I will convey this, your love and affection, to him as well, from my board, from my colleagues across the world. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was beautiful. It feels good to be an ASTEP today. So can we give a round of applause for the director of the song, everyone who did that song is beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. But I realized that as South Africans, we can teach you a thing or two on the moves of the song and the groove, whatever you. So we'll do that later during the gala dinner, where we can work a little bit there. Thank you very much. I think as we can see that some things move around from our program. So we were supposed to have tea at 10:30. So we'll have tea now, so that we can be able to continue. So we just moved around a little bit, a few of things. Actually, when the panel discussion was continuing, I realized that we really need at some point to have an integrated assembly between the ARTSEP, the NSP's management, the air traffic controllers, and the service providers. Because what we are talking about here, our managers need to hear. Because eventually they are the one who needs to sponsor everything that has to do with the equipment and everything else. So we do need an integrated assembly whereby everyone will be part of it. So we're going to have a quick, it's not that quick. May we please be here by 11:15. We can do that. Thank you. We'll see you back as my colleague continues. President.